Got a lot going on here. Now, a lot of you are smokers and you want to quit, or you might live with someone who needs to quit, or you have a friend who wants to quit. We're going to talk about a new way, and I keep saying it's new, but it's not new in the world. It's just new in the U.S., and we have a center in Cincinnati. So we're going to talk about this, a great way for you to stop smoking, and we have a big success story. Let me introduce you to Anne Penman. Anne, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having us, and let me say how exciting it is to be bringing it to America.
Oh, we are really excited. Now, tell me, because you're from Scotland.
I'm actually originally from Ireland.
From Ireland?
But I lived in Scotland for the last 12 years. I was a 60-a-day smoker. In fact, I was in love with my cigarettes.
And let's say this again. You smoked 60 cigarettes every day.
Every day.
And that is 3 packs of cigarettes, which I cannot imagine, because that's like having a cigarette in your mouth almost 24 hours.
It works out if your eyes are open, you have a cigarette in your mouth. And of course, we had a pub and restaurant, so we were in the right business to do it.
Oh, so you actually owned a pub and a restaurant, so you were kind of
yeah.
smoking, and your clients, your customers were smoking. And your husband was a big smoker.
He was probably about the same as me, and very sort of, we liked a good time. We like to party and have a good time.
And which is great.
And then at 37, unfortunately, he had his first heart attack.
At age 37?
At age 37. Now, you have to understand, he had genetic history in his family. Father died at 38 and his brother died at 32. So when he had a heart attack at 37, he didn't think I should stop smoking. He thought, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be here.
Oh my goodness.
And he probably increased his smoking by about another half a pack.
He did, just out of the stress?
Well, he was terrified. He thought he was going to die. And to be honest, I was no support, because I kept thinking it was his problem and not our problem.
Right.
At 41, he had another massive heart attack, 12 weeks in hospital, a triple bypass, and he hasn't smoked since Valentine's Day 1991.
What a great Valentine's Day gift.
Great Valentine's Day gift. And of course, he's still here, and he's now 57. So he's doing pretty good.
And he looks good. Too bad we're not showing him, but he looks great.
Well, he looks good. He's well cared for, put it that way.
Yes, he is, thanks to you.
Yeah.
So what happened? So you told me the doctor called you to the hospital.
Well, the doctor called me to the hospital, and I assumed he was calling me there to tell me something about Ron's health. And when I got there, he said, you know, every time we get your husband in here, we get him off cigarettes. You get him home, you start him again. Because you're smoking, so naturally he's going to smoke with you. He said, this time, 3 months from now, if he smokes, he'll be dead. And he said, you can either increase your insurance premiums or stop smoking. Now, if you can imagine, at that time, we had a 14-year-old son, I had a full-time job, a pub to run, and my buddy was my cigarette. So I'm like, oh, can't do that. But I went off and I tried what was on the market at that time. I did hypnosis, acupuncture, the gum. But to be honest, I can't say they don't work. I just was looking for a miracle cure.
It just didn't work for you.
It didn't work for me. Plus, I wasn't really making any effort to work with it. So eventually somebody told me about a lady who was doing laser therapy in Belfast in Northern Ireland, and I went along very sceptical. I'm like,
laser therapy?
Laser therapy? But at least it got me off the hook, Jan, because everybody was on my case. You need to try.
Right.
I had one session, and I stopped on the 19th of April, 1991 at 11:15 in the morning.
Oh, my goodness. After one session?
After one session.
And you were on 60 cigarettes a day?
Yeah. But I have to say that I now do the program. We've taken the program on board and developed it, and I now do the program as more than one session, because stopping isn't the problem. It's adjusting to lifestyle changes. It's coping with change of routine and habits. So we've changed things a bit from I did it, but most of our clients will do it in one session. We like them to come back, that first primary session, which takes about an hour. We like them to come back within 2 to 3 days, so that we can just check, give them another little sort of follow-up session, and then we sort of tailor the follow-up to what's required.
So, and then let's go back. So they use a laser. How does this process work, and why does it work?
Well, it works because when a smoker has a cigarette, what they do is they increase their endorphin level. It simply means they light a cigarette, endorphin goes up, and when it drops, they need another cigarette.
And endorphins are those things that kind of make us feel good, like chocolate. And,
well, chocolate's a good way to describe it. Or going to the gym, perhaps, or doing a workout's another good way to describe it.
Right.
So what we do with the laser is we kind of balance out the endorphins and stop that horrendous drop and craving. We also control this temper and stress level, and for smokers that's a big thing. You know, I don't know if you've ever smoked, have you?
Well, I tried it in high school, and my father had such a fit that I didn't continue.
Oh, you're lucky girl.
I got in so much trouble for doing that never again. So.
Well, most smokers will tell you that the most scary thing about giving up is they change personality. They become like a real Jekyll and Hyde. So the laser's good for controlling the temper and stress level. It's good for giving them a feel-good factor, but it's particularly good for helping the body to detox. works. We use it on their ears, on their nose, on hands and wrists. It's pain-free.
Oh, the laser actually goes to your nose, your ears, your hands, and your wrist?
Yeah. And it's pain-free, very relaxing process. But then during the session, of course, we give them guidance, advice, support, really about how important it is to change their lifestyle. We use the carbon monoxide meter here. I don't know if you're familiar with one of these.
No,
but
I'm not.
It's a great motivational tool. One of the main components, I don't know if you know, there are 4,000 chemicals in every cigarette.
Ooh.
And one of the most toxic and one of the most damaging one is carbon monoxide, same as what comes out the exhaust fume of your car.
Ooh.
So this little machine measures it on your first visit, and then it's a good tool to let them see when they come back how much it's improved. So we do lots of stuff that's, you know, motivational, and we're not about telling you the dangers of smoking, we're about telling you the positive side after you stop.
Because it is part physical. Physical is a big part of it, but it's part psychological too, isn't it? And as you talked about changing lifestyle, and you were mentioning, you know, you were a pub owner, so you're sitting around smoking and talking. It's all very social. So part of the change is changing lifestyle.
Changing your lifestyle, and also understanding that people need to get that lifestyle change managed for a little while, because, you know, most smokers have been doing it 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, for example, we have a gentleman in Atlanta who's been smoking 55 years. Now, can you imagine, he'd never stopped before, so can you imagine what that was like for him in those first few weeks?
Oh my goodness.
But he's a great success for us. In fact, he keeps saying, can I be in one of your TV ads, please?
Sure. Yeah, sure. You know, the other thing, people are afraid, and we're going to come back and show pictures of the clinic and all that, but a lot of, especially women, tell me they don't want to stop smoking because they're going to get fat. Now, does it help control that eating? Because a lot of it's just that oral fixation. You want something in your mouth.
Yeah. The laser is particularly good, and it is part of the smoking cessation program that we look at that, because it is problems, particularly for younger women. Older women, maybe not such a big issue, but certainly for the 30 to 45-year-old group, they're really concerned about it. And there is something that we can do with the laser. But what we're hoping to introduce very soon is actually a separate weight loss program.
And we're going to talk about that. Okay, we're going to come back and talk about that. Stick with us. We'll be back in a moment to help you quit smoking. Talking to Anne Penman, who's from Ireland and then Scotland, about how to stop smoking with a laser treatment, which I'm just amazed because this is so wonderful. And we didn't start out by saying, but you told me that there are at least 50 million smokers in the U.S. And the tri-state, our area, has a higher number than normal, than average, I should say.
Yeah. I think that in Scotland we have the highest rate of heart disease and smoking-related illnesses in Europe. I think, you know, in America you've been doing so much proactive stuff. I couldn't believe you still have 50 million smokers, and in the area where we are now holds an awful lot of those folk.
Yeah, because we have had lots of ads about not smoking, and we've heard that young people are smoking less, but there's still a ton of smokers out there, and once people start, it's so hard to quit.
And I think it's not true that young people are smoking less. The statistics in the UK, I don't know about here, but what we're finding, for every adult that gives up, 3 teenagers are taking it up. So we really need to do more proactive stuff to get children more aware of the dangers.
Right. So, but the thing is, once someone actually is hooked, then, and as you said, your husband was in a life-threatening situation. He was coming home to you, and you were smoking, and you're thinking it's his problem, but the doctor said you need to really stop so that your husband can stop. So let's kind of show what we have here, because the laser treatment, you said it's on the, you put the laser on the ear, the nose, and the hands.
Yes, I've actually brought a machine here so that you can have a little look. What happens when the client comes in initially, we take some background information. For example, if you've stopped before, a little bit of history. We try and find out as much about you as an individual as we can. When we've completed that, we put you into a nice, relaxing, reclining chair. Of course, we use goggles. Laser is perfectly safe and non-invasive, as you'll see here. Okay. But there is always the need to protect the retina of your eye. I'll let you try these on because they're pretty relaxing even on their own.
Cool glasses, hey.
They're cool.
I like these, yeah.
There's a pair.
I need some glasses.
There's a pair, obviously, for the client and for the technician. Wow. So you get your glasses on, and then we start to work around. I'll let you feel just what it feels like, and you'll see there is no sensation of any sort.
I don't feel anything. I heard the beep, but I don't feel anything.
You don't feel anything, that's it.
Wow.
And literally what we do is we select different energy points for different people and trying to sort of schedule it for the best course of treatment for you. As I say, the laser is a physical intervention. It's the bit that calms the nervous system, increases the endorphin level, gives you the feel-good factor, and generally deals with all the sort of physical bits that come when you're giving up. And of course during the session you'll be given advice and support, and we do tailor the guidance, advice and support to the individual, because for example there's no point in giving a man and a woman the same advice.
Okay.
You know, and there's no point in taking an age group of the over 50s and telling them what a 21-year-old would do.
Oh, now, you know, and Jeff has some pictures of how this looks. It does look very relaxing, and there's one of the clients or patients wearing the glasses, and the technician is there. Is this the Cincinnati
This
clinic?
is the Cincinnati
And we should
clinic,
say,
yes.
because you've been in Scotland since 1991.
1992 I started in
1992.
Scotland. We've been in America since the turn of the year, since January.
In Atlanta, and now you're in
and now we're
Cincinnati,
in Cincinnati.
out of Tri-County. Very convenient.
And I have to tell you, Cincinnati is just wonderful.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Wonderful.
And this is out in Tri-County.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And we should give people the address.
That would be good.
Okay, well, we'll have to
read that. I know the website is apltcincinnati.com.
And of course they can log on to us.
Yeah,
but look at this. This is gorgeous.
It's lovely. It's a lovely facility, and
this is new. I mean, you just opened here in Cincinnati.
They've been open about 6 weeks, and they've already been snowed under with appointments. And of course, both Megan and Kim that are there are just fantastic.
This is
actually
wonderful.
a family business, so it's a really neat operation.
That is great. And we should say the cost, because I thought, oh, this is going to be very expensive. The cost is
$269, and that is for the whole program. That covers all the
$269
sessions.
could save your life.
It could.
And stop. I mean, because people have tried the gum, the patches, the hypnosis, everything, and a lot of people still are smoking. I mean, it's so tough. And those things might work for others, as you said. They didn't work for you,
No.
and they don't work for a lot of people. So,
well, what we're trying to do is really give a comprehensive package. You know, if you have, first of all, the physical intervention, then you have your own technician on a one-to-one basis. You have ongoing sessions on a telephone hotline. We mustn't forget the hotline.
the hotline, that's good.
Because I think it's a really,
that kind of support is good. Yeah. And you said it's kind of like AA in a sense, that there is that supportive environment.
Yeah, a very supportive environment. And of course, our ambition is to make happy non-smokers, and really to make people go out the door feeling that not only can they stop, but they can stay smoke-free.
And you told us about the success story where your own is a great one. And then there was the man in Atlanta who had smoked for 55 years. So are you finding, I mean, do you have a lot of these stories? Are you just amazed?
We could fill a book. And every day our job is just such a pleasure, because when you see people being able to break free of such an addiction, and of course, well, I'm a perfect example. When you believe you can stop smoking, you can do anything.
Right.
So you're not just enabling them to change that aspect of their life, but you're giving them confidence to take big strides forward and do what they want to do.
And do other things, yeah. That's wonderful. And what a savings. I mean, you pay $269, your health gets better, you save your life, and then you stop buying all those cigarettes. And as you were doing 3 packs a day, that's a very expensive habit. And then all the people around you are inhaling all of that. So let's give people a number to call. It looks like it's 772-9355.
Yeah.
And that's area code 513. So 772-9355. And you do have a website, and we, you know, our studio audience knows you can log into channelcincinnati.com, and we will link on to the website for the laser treatment. But what a great thing! I'm so glad. How did you end up coming to the States? Because you've been.
Well, it was a funny story really, because over the years we've trained lots of people all over Europe, and we had lots of inquiries from the US, but each time my husband would say, if we go there, how do we control the quality? And last year a gentleman called Fred Aycock from Atlanta found me on the internet, came and talked to us, said, we've got this idea that we're going to take your treatment and franchise it. And they're just a wonderful group of people to work with.
That's great. And I should say it's a 1 hour session. I just want to, it's 1 hour. It's pain-free.
Pain-free, very relaxing, very good for your well-being. You get lots of support, lots of advice. We see you back within 2 days for that 30-minute top-up, and then there's 2 or 3, but most people will do it in 1. The usual is 1 to 2 sessions, but if they need it, we'll give them some extra.
Right, and then they can call the hotline anytime.